What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another SpiderMan PS4 video. And yes, I know, again, I do not have a superhero shirt on. I got my Spider-Man, sweater here, but again, it's like I'm kind of warm, so I don't really need to wear it. And I was working out today, but let's just get to this video. So, let's first talk about the Spider-Punk suit. We got to see the Spider-Punk suit in action, but we also got to see the Scarlet Spider suit. And I gotta say, it looks really good. I mean, I know a lot of people have been saying, like, oh, are the eyes gonna, like, move and stuff? And it doesn't look like that's the case. But you never know, like, because we didn't see these suits in a cutscene or anything. We just saw them, like, in action, which is cool. But I do want to talk about the combat a little bit more, because I feel like I've come up with a lot of new ways to describe the combat in Spider-Man PS4, but without playing it yet. I know, again, I don't want to really say anything too much about the game until I play it, but I also just want to, just let you know what it reminds me of. The combat, because this is a combat trailer. Obviously, it's basically just showing off all the skills and abilities, which we will get to. The combat, I've been thinking a lot about the combat. A lot of people compare the combat to the Arkham games. But I've been thinking, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me a lot of Shattered Dimensions, or like Edge of Time, or like games like that. Like the way you can launch enemies into the air and hit them and stuff. That seems a lot like the Shattered Dimensions and Edge of Time and Spider-Man 2 a little bit. That's what I think of a little bit when I think of the combat in this game. So that I don't always have to compare it to Arkham. Because honestly, when I sit here and I think about it, I've been actually thinking about it for a long time. The combat is actually not that much like Arkham. Well, and I know that a lot of people will compare it, like, oh, it's like the Arkham games. Even me, I was like, oh, it reminds me of Arkham. But honestly, it's a lot like Shattered Dimensions and Edge of Time. It's not really like Arkham at all. If you really give it a thought and you really think about it and you really analyze it, it's not really like Arkham. Especially the finishing moves. I mean, yeah, Batman had finishing moves, but there are literally options to have finishing moves like in the game and stuff. So when you perform them on enemies, so it's its own thing. So let's remember that. So let's get into the abilities, because I know the abilities are a big part of it. And let me take a breath. I've been talking too much. Okay, the abilities. So from what I know so far, I know that there are about 5 different abilities that we know, and there are about like 4 abilities we saw in the little trailer here. So we had the Sonic, which is basically with the electric guitar. The Spider-Punk outfit, when he kind of does that, and then like a huge wave. It's basically like an area effect. I love area effect moves because it lets me get all the enemies off me and really just look at it from a distance and know which enemy I want to go for first, and second, and third, and last, and all that stuff. But that's a move I might use in the game a lot. Let's talk about the Spider Drone. We actually got to see the Spider Drone in action. So the Spider Drone will like fight with you like a little sidekick. He's like a little sidekick, and he'll like fly around, and he'll like, I don't know if he shoots webs or what he does specifically, but he's like around you when you're like fighting the enemies and stuff. So I don't really know specifically how it works still, but I know it's gonna be while you fight enemies. So that looks pretty cool. It looks decent. It looks great. Let's talk about obviously we have the web attack where he jumps up in the air and he just like webs like the whole area. It's another area attack. I'm noticing a lot of area attacks from the abilities. I love area attacks, like just a full circle radius to get the enemies off you. I love moves like that. And then we have Decoy. So this move reminds me a lot of Spider-Man 2099's move in Edge of Time, where he sets up like 2 decoys. So in this case, Spider-Man sets up 2 decoys, and and they will talk smack and stuff like that. So there is some pretty, interesting and funny things with the decoys. But they're basically obviously used to get the enemies off you. My brother's going to use that a lot. I might use it here and there. I don't know. I feel like I put that little ability on like 2099 just simply because it just seems more like him, But it's cool. It's a really cool ability. And then you have the damage, so you get like a web damage, like a damage buff up for the, and I think this specifically was for like the classic suit, which you will get at the beginning of the game. It does exactly what it does. It just improves your damage as you fight. So sounds cool, sounds great. And then again in this trailer we got JJ talking his smack about Spider-Man and stuff. And, of course, Peter Parker, again, talking to JJ over the phone about Spider-Man. And, again, it's kind of funny. I just sit there and I kind of think to myself, like, really, JJ, you don't know that it's Peter, Or, like, he called you twice so far, and he used to work for you, And I get it, JJ is on the outside an asshole. I just hope that he's not always looked at as an asshole, because there have been iterations of JJ where he can be a cool guy, or you can understand his point of view and stuff. I like that JJ. I don't like the JJ who's always kind of mean and nasty and stuff without a good reason. I like a good reason for why he is the way he is. The older comics, I don't think they did that, but newer ones and like newer media, like Spectacular Spider-Man is one of those shows. The animated series, obviously. Now, I don't really remember any specific comics that really touched on that too much. But, again, I like that type of JJ. Again, I don't know if we'll get another trailer. But I gotta say that this is looking great. It really is. And before I go, there's one more thing I want to talk about. So, before I made this video, obviously this trailer came out days before I'm making this video right now. I've heard a lot of people talk about the downgrade of Spider-Man, right? People have been talking about the downgrade of this game, about how it doesn't look as good as it did last year or the year before. And after giving it some thought, after looking at it, it's not a downgrade to me. So basically I look at it like, okay, you got to render your game so that, first of all, you can make multiple copies. It's got to work. The game has to work, not just be a demo. It's got to be a full game. So you got to try to avoid as many glitches by kind of bringing it down a bit with some of the graphics and stuff. So what they probably do is that they added a lot more shading in some areas. I saw a picture of a guy comparing the two pictures of the E3 demo and that basically the E3 demo fight, how there's less of a puddle in the new version because, again, they're trying not to have their game break. So I understand why they're doing it. And honestly, the shading looks better. Like, it really does. Like, the way it's shaded, how they kind of tone down the brightness a bit. They're being smart with their shading effects, which looks great. I don't think it's a downgrade. I think that is what I would call a strategic... It's strategy, basically. They're basically just strategizing it. They're making sure that their game it doesn't look bad, but it doesn't, look amazing to the point where the game breaks. That's what they're just trying to do. They're trying to make sure that the game's not going to break on anybody. So yeah, they have to kind of, lower it a bit. They have to tune some things like the shadow effects and things like that, which is fine. It's no big deal to me. I think it still looks great. I think a lot of people would agree it still looks great. And that's pretty much all I have to talk about. Surprisingly, a pretty long video here. Let me know what you guys think about the combat abilities. Oh yeah, I forgot! My favorite finishers. I wanted to talk about my favorite finishers since this is a combat trailer. I want to talk about my favorite finishers. Okay, so my favorite finishers so far is the one where Spider-Man is like punching this guy. He's like going in a circle. He's punching this guy. Then he ends it with like a sweet kick. And then the other one is where he like webs up the guy and like makes him punch himself in the face. And then there's this cool new one where he like jumps up in the air and webs down and like basically knees him in the face into the ground. And that looked brutal. That looked great. But let me know what you guys think of some of these combat moves and what you think about the combat in general. And maybe what you think about the Scarlet suit. I think it looks great. I think it looks amazing. What do you guys think about the abilities? And yeah, guys, so let me know what you guys think about that stuff. And I'm out of here. Up, and away. See you guys.